Hello, my name is Brittany Payne, and today I will be representing Team Chester. I will provide a brief overview of our strategy for the capstone simulation based on observations within the courier, as well as opportunities we could have seized within the process, and things that we did not catch, and money that we've lost. So, in round two, we'll start with round two since everyone started off with the same figures and figure in round one. In round two, Team Chester was fairly profitable. We started off pretty strong. We did not utilize any emergency loans, so we did fairly well on that end in comparison to one of our competitors, Baldwin. They were immediately in a deficit in round two, utilizing $6 million of their emergency loan. Our strategy for the simulation was to be the leading company with a strategy of low cost and decent performance. Not necessarily high performance, but a reasonable quality for a low cost. And when we say low cost, we don't necessarily mean the lowest cost, but on the lower end of our competitors in terms of pricing and production. So, if we refer to page 4, which is our production analysis, these are our products. We have cake, cedar, seed, coat, and cure. In round two, we had a product in each segment: traditional, low, high, performance, and size. And we had quite a bit of inventory left in most segments except for cure, which was our size segment. Cake had the most, so we immediately knew that particular product would be repositioned within the next round or so. So our strategy for round two was positioned around this particular product and what needed to be done. So the quality for our products was fairly decent, and the performance was decent, even though we did have some products that exceeded the age and consumer preferences, which I will cover in a second for each itemized product in each segment. We did perform fairly well. In the traditional segment, we had cake, which possessed 12% of the market share and sold 891 products. Now, if we refer back to our production analysis, we will see that there was quite a bit of inventory left over for cake, and we wanted to figure out why. And we could tell that immediately for traditional that cake was moving out of this particular segment within the next round or so. So we wanted to figure out a way that we could optimize cake to be a leading product in the lower end segment. The consumer expectations for our product was to be at least 2 years old, to be within the range of $19 to $29, have a decent performance of 6.4, size of 13.6, and a quality within 14 to 19,000. For cake, we had 15,000 for quality, which was what we envisioned, to have a decent quality. And we weren't out of too much money in terms of advertisement and investments. It was highly aware of. The consumer awareness was pretty high for this particular product, and our sales budget was also decent, and consumer accessibility was decent, but our customer surveys did not reflect the customer awareness. So there needed to be some R&D done in terms of what needed to be implemented to make this particular product have more quality. If we move down to the low end buying criteria, the consumer preferences was 12,000 to 17,000, price 14 to 24. The ideal age is 7 years old. And in this particular segment, we had the product Cedar, which we will highlight. 22% market share, did awesome in this segment. We sold 2,000. The performance and size 3 and 17 did fairly well with that. The quality was decent, fell right between the median or the mean of 12 and 17,000. And our consumer awareness was pretty high, and so was our consumer accessibility. And we had a decent survey on this one as well, as reflected in our market share. On the high-end side, we exceeded our expectations for the market share by possessing 16% of the market. We predicted that Sid would be moving to traditional within the next round or so. So we wanted to structure this particular product to be a leading product in the traditional segment for round 3. So if we move to round 3, we will see that we immediately lost some money. We lost some money in round 3, approximately $12 million of emergency loan, and after investigating, we realized that Cedar, Coat, and Cure were the main products that we lost money on. Coat and Cure ultimately had to be thrown out, so we only had, let me refer to page 4, 1, 2, 3 products remaining in, I want to say round 5, which we'll get to in a second, but let me make sure. Yes, so in round 5 we lost Coat and Cure, but in round 4 we will discuss this. Round 3, I apologize, round 3. So in round 3, Cake was repositioned to a low-end product. So we had Cedar and Cake in the low-end segments. Our market share for low-end was optimal in terms of meeting the expectations, but we could have exceeded those. The price expectations for consumer buying criteria was between $13.50 and $23.50, and the ideal age was 7. Performance and size 13.2, 16.8, quality 12 and 17. Go down here to Cedar and highlight our results for this particular product. 16 for quality. We were on the high end of quality. And for age, the ideal age was 7, so we had a young product in the low end segment. And our strategy was to maintain these figures to remain a higher end products on the low end segment. The same for Sid. Well, no, Sid was out of the market, so we did not focus on the high end for Sid or Coat. Coat was being repositioned in performance as well, so that would be out of the market altogether in the next round. Coat and Cure were wiped out. So in round 4, we introduced 2 new products, Caesar and Coach, and they will be introduced in the high-end segment in round 5. So our active products in round 4 were Cat, Sid, and Cedar. Units sold for Cedar was 1,191. Inventory remaining was 575. For Sid in traditional, we had 253 units sold, none in inventory remaining. For Cat, we had a high-end product, 861 sold, 120 remaining. Our material cost was fairly high for Cat because we wanted to have a high-end product, which meant that we would have to invest in research and development, and as well as capacity, but we did not take that opportunity to invest in capacity. So, nor did we invest in automation for this particular product, which pretty much limited our capabilities of growing in this segment. So the only products we had active was low, traditional, and high. If we refer to our low end products, we had Cedar, Cedar possessed 5 performance, 16 size, and the ideal expectation for these two was 3.7 and 16.3. The size did fairly well, but our performance was a bit high. The quality was on the high end for low, which complied to our strategy of having a high-end, high-quality product at low cost. Customer awareness was high, and as well as accessibility, and our surveys were higher as well. Market share, we pretty much broke even. In terms of meeting expectations. In the high end, in round 5, we did not use an emergency loan. We sold $65,723,186,000 and $186,000 worth of products. Our earnings before interest and tax was $2,487,218, and our contribution margin was 27.7%. Our active products in round 5 consisted of Cedar, Sid, and Cat. Although Caesar and Coach were introduced in the last segment, they had not been established within any particular segment. I mean, if they were introduced in the last round, they weren't introduced into segments as of yet. For Cedar, which was a low segment product, a low end product, we sold 1,752 products and had 582 remaining. Our capacity was a bit high for each round. Sid, we sold 253 with none remaining. For traditional, Cat and high end sold 776 and had 324 remaining. If we refer to our low end product, Cedar, Cedar possessed 13% of the market, and size and performance 5 and 16. Preference was 4.2 and 15.8. We did exceed performance, and we also exceeded size. The quality for low end was 16, so we did have high quality, but we did notice that Cedar was being moved out of this segment as well. So to summarize our mishaps, I would suggest or infer that we were not paying much attention to the behaviors of our products in terms of how they were shifted and which factors affected them the most. We did not invest in automation as much. We didn't invest in the product itself, but we watched as it shifted and tried to do things at the last minute in terms of making decisions on that product after it had already been repositioned. Although we did maintain the low cost, high quality, it may not have been effective considering that we utilized the script as a tutorial for how to approach the segment in round one. We did revise a few steps in that particular segment, but we didn't know where to start in round one. So that is kind of what threw us off. Yes, so in terms of profitability, we did not accumulate much profit, but we did have a lot of leverage. Yes, so this concludes Team Chester's simulation review and overview. Thank you.